I wish many of these shitty arguments could be chronicled. I wish I could chronicle half of this shit, but I'm gonna be like pausing in between each point that I can remember for this entire Assassin's Creed Shadows Fallout. So I'm gonna start with this one. Apparently, people are saying except people from Japan are having an issue with Yasuke as the protagonist. And from what I heard, it's in between. They either like it or they feel a little mixed about it. It's not overwhelmingly negative as people proclaim. I'm gonna take a pause here and show you an example of what folks are trying to do, which is manipulate the like to dislike ratio in a weird way. Alright, as you can see, this is the Ubisoft Japan upload of the Assassin's Creed Shadows trailer, and you see that it has like 3.7k likes and 36k dislikes. And people are using this as a measure saying, oh, well, the Japanese really, really, really fucking hate it. It's the measure of all things. But here's the problem. This is my account. Unfortunately, I had to break it down to people that are readily slow, but you must understand this. This is my account. My name is Renegade Operative. I'm an American. I can go to this video, and if I want to, I could put a dislike on it. And no problem, no mas. This is not a measure for Japanese only people if anyone can run and put a dislike on the video. So that's a stupid ass argument. That's number one. All right, we're gonna cycle back to this. People have made multiple points, so it's gonna be kind of messy. But he said, except even people from Japan are having an issue with Yasuke as the protagonist. Now, he's not really the... I don't think he's the main hero and the protagonist of Samurai Warriors 5, but very interesting how Koei Tecmo labeled him in this game. And he's also a Neo. I'm gonna regulate this argument to people not being able to keep the same energy, not be consistent, something that's entirely, it's been there since the dawn of time, since we knew about Yasuke. We knew about him and how people in the media label Yasuke, and them not keeping the same energy or going after Koei Tecmo in the past, because as you can see, even in here, they do call him a retainer, but they also say that Yasuke became employed by Oda Nobunaga as a samurai. I'm sure, did people attack Koei Tecmo America for this tweet and saying that he was employed by him as a samurai? Probably not. Did they have a problem in Neo where Yasuke says, hey, I dreamt of becoming a samurai, and they label him in-game with his boss fight as the Dark Samurai? Did anybody complain about that at all? Keep the same energy at all? That this isn't a newfangled, newer issue with some people, and this never happened in the past? Oh, surely you just... Absolutely not, right? Some guy in my comments was whining about cultural appropriation, which occurs when cultural imagery and materials, examples, the way people dress, the music, etc., the art, the media, are removed from their cultural context and used in ways they were never intended. My man... Main event, he took this, right, and it's from someone who lived in Japan, and it is a black woman in a kimono, and you see Japanese people are looking at her. Cultural appropriation when it's appreciation. Let's play the video. Let's enlarge it so we can teach you guys some real history and how Japan operates, because it's just a bunch of American weebs sitting on the keyboard pretending they know everything about Japanese and how those people perceive others, and that's a very weird and also odd precedent and statement to say. But let's continue with this video. So we see black woman in a kimono appreciating it.
So people often ask me if it's appropriate or not if they go to Japan and wear kimono. Absolutely yes! How can it be inappropriate? It's just clothes. And then people will look at you, but it's not because you are not Japanese and wear a kimono. Nah, no one dresses like this anymore in Japan. Yeah. If I go outside like this in Japan, they would look at me too. But it doesn't mean that they're hating it. They are loving it because you are appreciating Japanese culture and tradition more than Japanese people. So thank you very much. So if you want to experience wearing kimono outside, do that. I would recommend it 100%. It will dress you as well, so you're not gonna, be inappropriate in any way. So it's okay. And you can wear anything you want in Japan. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. As long as you are wearing something though. Don't be naked outside. You're gonna get arrested. I'm sorry. It's not because you are not Japanese, okay? Japanese people will get arrested if they're not wearing anything outside, okay? That's just a law there. Unless you're not full naked, I think it's okay. Yeah, so enjoy the kimono experience in Japan and don't worry about anything being inappropriate. You can't be inappropriate, okay? Yeah. Enjoy!
You heard what he just said? He said that people, even in Japan, they don't wear that stuff anymore. It's not, and of course they wouldn't, like, they don't wear that stuff anymore, but when they do wear it, when people do wear it, they stare at you in appreciation for the older Japanese culture. What that dude was fucking whining about in my comment section about cultural appropriation, it doesn't sound anything but that with the way it was explained. So that's another L for people who really don't understand. Oh yeah, this meme is the samurai here. The only samurai that matters is the light, but retainers in the dark, I have a problem with it. Retainers aren't cool. Historical accuracy is optional. Historical accuracy matters because he's black, and I'm angry about it. All right, so here's the thing, and I gotta explain this point too. I was watching this video by TTBN Gaming, and he was talking about this. I'm gonna let some of his video play. All right, I'm just gonna let it play when he gets to a certain point.
Certain people are in fantasy situations, and that is realism. They want realism. You've heard it before with the Lord of the Rings, right? The Rings of Power. Well, there's a black person existing here. That doesn't seem realistic in a world where there's talking trees and there's dragons and magic and hobbits and whatever. A black person, it's like, oof, that's gonna take me out of it. I'm predicting that's the same argument's gonna be made here. They're going to say that,
and he's right, because it's people using this. Oh, it's not historically accurate. It's like, but Yasuke existed. That's the thing. That is real. That's the thing. And I'm gonna get to the samurai thing much later. Trust me, I will.
That Yasuke being a black samurai is just gonna take them out of the game, and it's not historically accurate because we all know Assassin's Creed is the most historically accurate game of all time. I remember learning in history that aliens are real and they're the actual gods of mythology. I remember that distinctly. That was true. Just like in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, when you fight against the Minotaur and you fight against the Cyclops and you fight against the Sphinx and Medusa, those are all historically accurate moments. Altair definitely assassinated all those people. Those are real. That was actually what happened. The Animus system, 100% realistic.
Hey, Ezio, he rumbled with the Pope in the Vatican. That was real, right? Like, what are you people talking about with true accuracy in Assassin's Creed? I always found Assassin's Creed to be historical fiction, and the guy explains this in the video, but I guess I'll put it in my own words. It's like a backdrop that they're using where they take pieces of historics and they put it in the game, and then you have the entertainment side, which is everyone is running around as Templars, putting out like hidden blades, shooting people with like ancient style guns. Like this is Assassin's Creed. It has never been 100% true to form historical all of the time, and that's what I was telling people as well. Is like you can't take it that seriously because, again, as this blurb says, as you can see, the historical accuracy of the series is always examined. this stuff can be discussed and whatnot, but these games aren't meant to be 100% accurate to historical history. They are meant to entertain you, the viewer. So I don't know why all of a sudden people are pretending that AC games are 100% accurate to source material all of the time. It's like, even if you could say, oh, they took liberties, why are you saying these liberties are damaging? Why are you saying there's a problem with playing as a black protagonist when we've played as one in Freedom Cry who was a slave who rose up? We're talking about Assassin's Creed. There are folks saying, oh, they're going woke now. What's more woke than fighting up against oppression as a slave? Like, what are you talking about to me? You are talking in tongues. Some of you people have been in my comment section for days, have not been making an iota, a brain drop of any sense whatsoever. Like, seriously, I believe you did not even graduate kindergarten at this rate, cause holy fuck, are you kidding me, right? Assassin's Creed has always had these bouts of historical fiction and also politics. Like, what is more political than rising up and fighting against the oppression to take back the control from the Templars? What the fuck? Like, when you break it down logically and you see what certain people are saying, it blows my mind that I have to explain it like this. It utterly astounding, right? And then let's see. I'm not gonna get into these comments yet. Let's see. Oh, okay. So I guess I have to at this point. This is the lead writer for, or you know, one of the lead writers at least, because I assume this game has like multitude of fucking writers on it. Assassin's Creed Shadows. This is the lead writer, and in typical internet fashion, folks went and dogged this lady for celebrating that she was going to be a writer on the game. Not really one of those people who went out and attacked anyone, as far as I know, just said she was excited to be on the team. I can see if it was the other way around, she attacked the gamers first, and then it's going to be like debates all over the place. If she initiated it, you know, you would have your reasoning, you would have your debate as to why to dislike her. But you decided to go after her appearance. You decided to go after her as a person for simply saying she was part of the team. And now you ran this person off of Twitter as if you're the most sane and rational individual with your insane and toxic witch hunting. You know, this lady didn't attack anybody. She wasn't being like willfully ignorant about it either. You know what I mean? There was nothing but celebration due to the fact that she was on the game. And the first thing someone says is, you are fat and talentless. Oh, we see some racism here in the midst of this. Jesus Christ. That's unrelated, but still, I'm gonna have to censor that. I'm just gonna have to censor that. But yeah, this is mostly people going after the lady, attacking her, and this guy's like, isn't this weird? She hasn't attacked anyone, doesn't say she hates gamers or males or white men, yet they're roasting her at 8 a.m. EST in the morning. What a bunch of miserable ass niggas. You live in misery. That's what most you people do. You live in misery. You say, oh, well, everyone in Japan hates it. We got fan art from Japanese people with these two characters, and they're supposedly making art of it. If they completely hated it, it would not be artworks of Yasuke and the female character at all. Nanui, I don't know how to say her name, but you know, I try not to say it, but until it's pronounced formally to me, then I'll actually say something about it. So you see it being celebrated in a way. I think it's just you guys that are being super miserable about it and super anal and upset about it. I mean, come on, at this rate, it's just painfully obvious. You witch hunted a writer into Protected because she's working on a game that you just don't like the premise of. Like I said before, and I'm gonna make this painfully clear for people in the back, if someone decides to antagonize the gamers, their statement can be criticized. But I'm talking about someone who did fucking nothing to nobody, just said they were confirmed to be a writer, just confirming something, and they got shamed for it, and they got their fucking notifications blown up, and a bunch of nonsense fucking rabid people just going after them for no reason. Like, there's one guy who says something about white people. It's like, yeah, you can criticize that statement, but this person who did fuck all, it's like, dude, you're rabid Wolverines willing to bite the heads off at anybody, and when someone fires back at you, guess what? You're the first one being the victim. Oh my god, he's oppressing me, he's harassing me. When someone says something back, you can't take the heat. So you try to dish it out, you can't take the heat, get the fuck out the kitchen. That's what I say. I always said, dude, if I was a game developer or a game designer and just I tried to celebrate my game and a bunch of people start firing back at me, if I fire back at them, boy, I'm telling you, man, they would not be able to take it. Game devs should be firing back on people if they did nothing wrong. I feel it's a free atmosphere, right? But again, I don't think it harbors anything constructive of the sort. Which is why these comments are destructive criticism, which, if you don't know what that is criticism where people try to tear other people down in terms of their appearance or their looks or their race or some other dumb bogus shit, and it stops involving the issue with the video game itself. And I'm not saying Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be like 100% perfect. I did see people ranting about the pre-order bonus being like $100 or something, when to me that's like old news. Like, you can decide not to like that if you want to, but at the same time they kind of did this with AC Origins, and they had like differing versions, them even going into the 100s. That's nothing new to me. What is something to look at is the fact that, are Ubisoft going to lie about the fact that this game is, you know, they like to lie about it being downgraded in graphics, and you can sort of criticize that, or you need an online connection for the first time. What if you don't have internet? But at this point, I'm like, a lot of people have internet, but that one-time installation, like, what if you're in a situation where you can't fucking fire up the game online? It's like a paperweight at that point. Maybe that will happen to a key amount of people. I think that's more constructive than this situation entirely. And I'm gonna go and see what I said in response to people harassing and witch hunting this lady violently for no reason. There we go. I said, I'm guessing she went private because you stinky, unwashed weirdos can't talk to people like normal human beings, and only decided to shame someone, harassment, instead of being calm, collected, and reasonable about your assessments. This is why game developers don't talk to you people, because the first thing you go out and do is say, hey, someone is fat because I don't like the fact that Yasuke is black, as if that makes you look any better. You fucking moron. Alright? No, you're gonna be called what you're gonna be called. You fucking moron. You're fucking morons. Alright? And I don't care how uptight or upset or angry you get. Like, if this video calls to you enough to get mad about it in the comment section, you are a fucking moron, and you're probably involved with said behavior. You fucking moron. Alright? There's no more being nice. The gloves are off. Like, some of you people are disgusting people, and you need to be called out for what you are, which is being disgusting. Okay? Alright, let me see if I can find any other points to talk about here. This is a little fun one. Not really a big issue, but this is a fun one from New Yokio, where he says, you got motherfuckers replying in English to people speaking Japanese, saying Yasuke seems like a cool character, but your rebuttal is he was never a samurai. And this is not even what the dude said in Japanese. And I'm like, okay, I hope you're smart enough to understand that Again, I guess it calls to the Japanese kind of poking at you guys a little bit, but I hope you guys understand, like, some of these people, it's probably some English speakers over there. It's probably some English speakers over there that can understand you, but it's also not some native English speakers in Japan. So you're saying something to this guy in an unknown foreign language and hoping to God that he sees it. You tell me if that makes any sense to you as a person, that this dumb motherfucker is speaking to a native Japanese speaker who probably doesn't know what he's saying, and he's like, you were never a samurai. It's like, dude, does he even understand what you're talking about? In response to him, how fucking upset are you? How mad can you be to not notice the language barrier right there? This is why your criticism sucks exist, because you folks don't make sense. You really don't. And we're not laughing with you, we're laughing at you. That's why you're getting laughed at for being morons. Like, it's common knowledge, it's common sense. I'm sure there's more on the horizon. Let's go find it. Okay, here's another one. Now, another guy named Learning the Law made some of this same argument that Grums did. He said the real issue with AC Shadows is that every game in the series highlights a local character to the culture except this one. And before Learning the Law was like labeling a bunch of Assassin's Creed games, left out Black Flag, and Black Flag was pulled up yet again. Now, the argument people seem to be making is that, oh, well, people in the Caribbean were mostly British and all this other stuff, and they had British pirates, so it totally makes sense in context to what we're saying. What he's saying is not making any sense because they had British pirates in the Caribbean. Here's the issue, and I'm going to clarify on this argument. We're talking about a local person, which is what Porter Rock says highlights a local character. Is Edward Kenway fucking local to the Caribbean area? No, because he was born in fucking England. It's like, are we speaking in tongues? Please, I implore you, for the love of God, you mentally deficient people, go back to school because you need it. That is the context of that whole argument that was being made. No one complained about Kenway being a fish out of water, going to the Caribbean and looting shit up in Black Flag, which is the argument. That is the argument. This guy, local, doesn't mean disingenuous for 1,000 years. It means lives there. It's just like, dude, what are people doing here? Again, this is just a lack of context clues, a lack of reading for some people. Just holy shit. The character was not local. So if you want, he's got to be 100% local to the area. I mean, Yasuke was in Japan. It's like, and I know people are saying, well, he wasn't from Japan, he was from Mozambique, right? Or however you say it, African country. Here's the thing. You can make stories where someone is a fish out of water, and they don't have to be local or relative to an area in order to embrace said culture. You don't have to do that. That's why they call it fish out of water. If that was the case, if that's your logic, then I guess RE5 never should have existed, right? Because Chris Redfield is not local to Kijuju, Africa. You moron. Why do you make this too easy? Why is this debate too easy, man? Because people just spout out and say a bunch of dumb shit and they don't really think about it. Like, holy fuck. the stupidity, the mental anguish to deal with people like this every day is astounding. And I 100% feel bad for the real smart cookies out there that engage in the cultural nonsense, and they have to deal with people in these comments like this every single day. I'm sure there's more to think of in my comment section. I'm gonna do one more, and then I'm gonna get out of here, and stop replying to these piss poor debates. So I'm gonna find one more. Oh man, this right here, this banger. All right, and I echo a lot of these sentiments, which is why I'm showing you them. But this guy says the Yasuke discourse has me thinking of a simpler time when people saw Nago from Guilty Gear in the first trailer, in the first couple of trailers at least, for Guilty Gear Strive, and everyone just thought, holy shit, a black samurai, that's badass, because none of the culture war losers were pretending to care about that game yet. And you see the likes, and you see the comments saying this guy looks like a Metal Gear Rising Revengeance boss, this new guy looks amazing. You know, nobody was saying none of this shit. I think it started to conjure up a bit in 2021. Definitely, I will say 2020 at least. It was there, but it wasn't there in these cool, like, sort of anime style fighting games or whatnot. People just, like, let that go. But people were saying he was badass. And the last thing I want to quote is the whole samurai retainer title. Now, as you can see, this is from Ass Historians, and this is where they get busy. All right, this is where they will correct. This is where they get down here in terms of history. And I'm only gonna read the last section, and you can read it all yourself. I'm gonna put it in the description below so you can read it and determine it for your own personal value. But the guy's talking about how Yasuke received a stipend from Nobunaga, and it says the meaning of the word stipend is not supposed to prove Yasuke was a samurai all by itself. What proved Yasuke was a samurai is not that he received a samurai stipend, but that he received a samurai stipend and carried Nobunaga weapons, which was the job of a samurai, and had and fought with a katana at Noju, and he was mobilized and followed Nobunaga on the Takeda campaign of 1582 and remained by Nobunaga's side even after Nobunaga dismissed all of his ordinary soldiers. If you've read this and all my other posts and links on Yasuke and still don't believe that Yasuke was a samurai, which this guy posted all his sources here, and if you still don't believe it, then he said either A, you prefer to believe your own bias over historical research, or B, you should post an academic level publication, which some of these people, you know, have posted their PhDs and all this other shit. You should post that before arguing if Yasuke wasn't a samurai so I could read it. Valid sources, and none of these like weird culture war biases either. We're just talking like history, real history, and what you could signify. And Yasuke being, you know, I think they dabble between terms of samurai, retainer, koshu, all that other stuff that they called them back then. But that's just my assessment on that bit. Most people are fine with Yasuke being deemed as a samurai in this game. And I know there's folks using the fact that this game, Assassin's Creed Shadows, has shot up in pre-orders, like number 2 on the list. I'm gonna be counter to those people, actually. We've seen this happen with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, where it was like number 2 or number 3 or number 1 in pre-orders, and it did not sell up to their expectations, at least for WB. So I would wait before dictating sales and dictating pre-orders. Ultimately, if in the end this game does sell, let's say hypothetically it sells and it meets Ubisoft's expectations, then I mean, it is what it is. Like the thousands of grifters and videos just constantly beating it over the head, you're gonna entice one person to buy this game. Like it's a no-brainer. Someone's gonna buy it, and then that equals to 2 people, then it multiplies by 5, then it multiplies by 10, then it multiplies by 20, saying it's not really that bad of an idea. Folks kind of underestimate, the casual person. Like, it grows in numbers. At times, you do have to vote with your wallets, and you have to also vote with your silence. If you don't like the fact that this game has a black protagonist, just sail off into the sunset. Don't worry about it. And if you're constantly, because I know the comparisons are going to go wild with this game when it comes out, and Ghost of Tsushima. And I guess you could compare the two. It's not as stupid as people comparing Ghost and Last of Us, so finally, you made a valid comparison after what, 4 years? Good job. Good job. Finally, a game that's similar in aspects against a game that's similar in aspects. Good job, as opposed to comparing an open world samurai game to a third person shooter. Oh man. Or people comparing like Spider-Man 2 and Baldur's Gate 3. I can't with the stupidity. I think it's time to log out. I'll see you guys next time. Later. As a PS for my brothers and sisters out there, I believe we're gonna be alright. I mean, there are people actually arguing in my comment section saying, oh, well, I'm just tired of the black protagonist and all this other business. I mean, we've had cool black protagonists in the past. CJ from San Andreas. Fucking, he was a cool ass black protagonist. That was fine for what it was. Josh from Resident Evil with Desperate Escape in the DLC. You could play as Josh, and he was kick ass, and he owned in that game doing the Josh Plex. That was also awesome, right? Fucking hell. And then even in past AC games, we had Bayek and AC Origins. Nobody complained. We had Wally in Freedom Cry. Nobody complained as much. So, yeah. There was a dumbass on Twitter saying, oh, Egypt is not in Africa. You could tell just, I don't think that geography has been in any of these people's curriculum for school whatsoever. Egypt is not in Africa, really, you dense motherfuckers. Like, oh my god. Oh man. Just, I'm not even gonna dig for that tweet. I don't even think it's worth it. Oh, I found it. There it is. I found it. Do us a favor and search where Egypt is located, please. These dudes are half past brain dead, alright? Just dumb. I'm talking dumb. Well, the last point is, people were saying, well, Ubisoft is Ubi shit. They don't make good quality whatsoever, and I guess I have to poke back to where I was before. Oh man, it's so many tabs. This is really killing me. Alright, this one. Didn't Prince of Persia Lost Crown release this year? And it got like an 86 across the board between critics and users. Yeah, Prince of Persia is a Ubisoft product, and people like this platformer, so they released a banger that happened this year. I'm not gonna say that Ubisoft will release all hits. That's never gonna happen, right? There's gonna be a bummer somewhere, but as far as the year goes, this year we got a banger, and it's Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. So there you go. Like, stuff has to come out and release, and it needs, this one chance at least. And I think that's the end of the video. I just thought it was funny to share to you guys that, once again, some of these things can be easily countered when you really just look at the facts and you look at stuff and you just show the aftermath. That's why I let things sit and marinate right then and there. So I am out for real this time. I'll see you guys next time. Really. Go have some fun. Play some old Assassin's Creed titles and have a blast. I know I'm having one. Later.